Welcome back to Rappahannock Issues. I'm Tom Cohen. We're talking about homeless and particularly a program founded and led by Daniel Robinson, who is our guest. It's called Dollars for Doorbells. And so before the break, you were talking about how trying to use foreclosed homes to do that. To sort of explain the process of how would you actually get the foreclosed homes or whatnot.
Absolutely. So right now we're looking at hopefully getting our first home next year. Obviously homes cost a lot, but what our goal is to purchase it straight up outright. So we're going to purchase the home and purchase it more than likely from those banks that are sitting on those houses, losing money every day. Get them off the chopping block of foreclosed homes, and then we can immediately start looking at improving and getting a home inspected to make sure it's up to par. And basically, we would hold the title or deed to that establishment, to that property, for the 7-year progress. And then after 7 years, that's when we would turn over all documents to the family, and it's theirs to do what they want.
All right. And then you started to allude to how families would actually get into the program to try to get the home.
Correct. So we do have an application right now. As I said, if you want to apply, please go ahead. But right now, it's going to just be put on standby because we're trying to earn the funds to get the home. But the application is online. It's dollarsfordoorbells.org, and essentially it's just a starting point. Get your name and a little bit of your background story, so that way we can understand where you're coming from, what happened, how did you get in the predicament that you're in, and then a part of our program is we really really need a family that wants to better themselves. We need somebody who's up to the challenge. Our 7-year program, we're going to be working with you, working with partners like Life Leadership, who we're working with right now for financial guidance. We're going to be working with families and case officers who we assign to those families. And if you need a job, we're going to have local connections to get you that job, to hold those requirements that we have to make sure that you are doing what you need to do to put yourself in a better situation. So it's not just a free ride. We expect families to make sure that they're putting effort and they want to be part of it. Another part of the requirements is anybody 16 or older and who's physically able to do so, we want you to go out and better the community and volunteer at least 2 hours a month, which isn't a lot. And as long as it's an approved nonprofit through us, it doesn't have to be with us, but somebody that needs assistance for volunteers, we want you to kind of be a part of changing people's lives.
And so would they be paying the monthly mortgage, or say, for example, a family gets into one of the homes, would they then sort of pay rent to you all, and then you all pay the mortgage? And to a certain degree, the rent may be lower than the mortgage rate, but it would be sort of part of the program so that they could show that they're going to, after the 7 years, keep going.
Right, that's a great question. One of our, I don't want to say competitors, but one of the other nonprofits out there is Habitat for Humanity. Great program, outstanding. They've been around for a long time. The way they work is they would like families to be a part of building their home. So they require a certain amount of man hours to go out and build your home. Another requirement they have is they require funds being put every month towards a mortgage. The way we work is mortgage rent-free. All that money that you're working towards during the 30-hour work week, which we hope we can get. We know the jobs are tough right now, but that's all going to other things. Mortgage rent-free. That's one of the beauties of our program is we take the money that we have and we purchase that home, cash money on the spot, and we give that home to that family, and we give that opportunity for that family to get ahead in life, to save that money that they would be putting towards rent or their mortgage. We're putting in an escrow account, and we're letting them save up and just continuously get further and further more financial freedom.
Oh, cool. Okay, and that's a different, as I said, a different way of looking at it. But it's true that the other obligations of life are going to be hitting them just as much as a mortgage would be. So, how does your group work with governments and/or individuals to try to get the funds or get help in trying to do this?
So right now we're pending 501c3 status, which means we have the paperwork in IRS, but it takes 9 to 12 months to get cleared by IRS. And while we're waiting on that, we are registered here in Virginia, we're registered in New York, and hopefully soon we'll be registered in Vermont. And that gives us the opportunity to raise funds, to build those funds up. And while we're waiting for that 501c3 process or that status to get to us, then we can go to the government and big foundations and big corporations and say, hey, look, we're 501c3, and this is what we need. We need this grant, or we need some assistance through this corporation, some in-kind donations. Unfortunately, a lot of the businesses out there, they won't donate unless you're 501c3, which I can understand both sides. On my side, it's a little frustrating. But for them, they want to make sure that you're a legitimate organization. And, all their donations is tax-free when they do that. So that's some incentive for them as well.
And it's hard to believe, but some companies have not been able to rebound as much after 2008, same as some of the individuals have been. Now, you mentioned that you sort of have chapters in Virginia, two in Virginia, Fredericksburg, and then Virginia Beach, then New York City, and then New York State, upstate New York.
Yeah.
And then I think you're trying to do one also in Vermont?
We are, yeah. We have a couple volunteers up there.
Is there are they reporting any differences in the homeless situation in different areas? Is it different clientele or different needs?
So homelessness in Vermont, based on just the population overall, is obviously lower than, let's say, New York. However, there is a problem up there. As far as families, I would say that there aren't so many families out in the streets or in shelters, but they're in those situations where they're living with friends or living in the hotels, and they're not necessarily being reported on. I know this for a fact because I lived up in Vermont for a few years. I know a lot of people up there, and I know several people that are in that particular situation right now. So it does vary based on the demographics and the area in the United States. Where in Richmond or in the D.C. area, you might have a lot more populations, in the shelters or up in New York. The families, in general, we're looking at, the numbers would be higher in New York. I believe D.C. was obviously one of the number one cities to have homeless homeless families, and also in Colorado.
Yeah. Well, and get to Colorado after. But after this break, we'll come back and see what efforts we are doing to raise funds so they can secure their first home. And you can come back and secure yourself some information. Come after the break.